Tonight, do you have a coin for your Witcher? How punk is cyberpunk? How is the color amber so alarming? Is your corp tingling? And how many space dicks did you erect on Christmas break?
I'm Russ, and I forgot how the orientation of this intro went.
This is Andrew, and though the droid is dead, the boat still moves.
This is Nick, and it's now Star Wars canon that Palpies clap cheeks.
My name is Andy. Welcome to the Balcony Time Podcast. I don't remember who was opening, but go ahead.
Trailers. Not the fake vehicle, the pre-movie movie.
Fake vehicle.
It doesn't actually go on its own, right? I hate trailers unless it's for a movie I know I'm not going to watch. Because as time goes on, trailers, at least in my experience, have started telling you more and more of the movie to the point where I feel like I don't need to go see it now because you just showed me everything. I know the basic structure of the entire plot. I know how it's going to flow, and it ruins it.
There are trailers that I enjoy because they will give me enough sense of what a movie that I'm unaware of is doing. I think I prefer a teaser trailer just because nobody wants the plot to be spoiled in a trailer. Mm-hmm. I mean, anytime that happens, everyone is upset by it, and yet it still continues to happen with regularity.
It must not piss off enough people because it seems to happen all the time.
Well, here's the thing. If you can get the plot out of a movie, you can watch way more movies.
Well, you just quote unquote watch because you've seen the trailers.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, I'm a movie buff.
And you
I've
get to
seen
do it for
thousands of trailers.
It's like Cliff's Notes.
So you binge trailers 15 minutes every month and you've watched every movie?
There you go.
Considering he's hated almost everything we've watched in the last year, that might be what's for you.
Do you like anything?
I liked Midsommar. That was a cool movie. I just watched that. I liked Arrival. Arrival was good.
Arrival was really
That
good.
was a big movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I liked Blade Runner. That was a great. So I like good movies.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't like bad movies.
That
they make me fall asleep.
I'm kind of caught up, on the fence about. I do, in some cases, like watching trailers for stuff I'm unaware of, because then, like you said, you get to know what the movie's about. But the chance of it ruining the movie before I even get to watch it is so high that I'm like, and I don't know how to feel when I watch them.
I mean, I definitely get that. I would err on the side of caution when watching trailers for movies that I already know I want to see, just because I don't want them to give anything away. I think I would typically avoid them. I like a really well done trailer, something that does get you hyped to see a movie without spoiling the plot.
My go-to is always District 9's trailer. It's just they've captured this alien and they're interviewing it, and you have no idea anything else about it. And even the trailers before that were just the people in the town talking about.
Yeah, they did kind of like
aliens,
a viral.
But they didn't even explain
I
at
Love
first
Bees
that they were
thing.
aliens. Yeah, it was very much like what we would now call a teaser trailer. And
I will say, kidding aside, I won't know of a movie unless I see a trailer about it or hear about you guys talking about it.
you need
Otherwise,
to Reddit more.
Reddit more, browse.
And usually if I hear about it on Reddit, it is through some sort of trailer, though.
Yeah.
Right? There's a trailer accompanying that.
I typically go out of my way. It's one of the things that I occasionally do seek out on the internet is finding out what new movies are slated to be released, like a very targeted search.
If I'm in the mood to watch a movie, I will usually just, especially when I'm going to go to theater, I'll just see what Tinseltown's playing, and I'll just check the reviews on them. And I'll be like, unless the review is high enough, I'm not even going to bother watching anything about it.
On the flip side, video game trailers are not at all like a movie trailer is.
It's because video games are long, and it's
true.
rare that the plot of a game.
I mean, they could show
is
you
going
something
to
that happens in
be-
the plot, and you still wouldn't even probably
Yeah.
catch it necessarily.
Yeah. And the thing, to be honest, most game plots aren't like anything that special. Just so that if you compare the sheer quantity of games that come out, and most games, you don't play for the plot. That's a specific kind of game that you're playing.
I feel it's the same with movies though. At the end of the day,
no one cares about the plot of Apex, right?
Sure. But I mean, there are a lot of very story-heavy, story-driven games that
Yeah.
I'd say as many as much of a percentage of gaming is doing something new as movies.
I'll tell you this, something like Disco Elysium, the game, I wouldn't want to watch a trailer for it because I know that game's going to be story super heavy.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't want to know anything about it. But
I don't know. I watched the trailer for Cyberpunk 2077, and that just makes me so happy.
It didn't get me any more hyped than I already was.
it's because you're a cold, dead corpse.
I'm hyped about what do you mean?
I already had faith that CD Projekt Red was going to
Yeah,
do
that's
something
exactly
pretty
it.
amazing. Confirming that the game is looking amazing is awesome. I think after watching the initial teaser, I didn't sit down and watch the 20 minutes of gameplay they had.
Yeah.
And I haven't sought any new trailers since then because now I know I'm okay. I can just wait till April.
Yeah.
And get up in there.
I am looking forward to that game now. I really want to play it on PC because it's going to be visually amazing. I know that we don't have a PC here that will play that at its max settings.
Sure, but I mean, it'll get close enough to be gorgeous.
Yeah, sure.
It would probably look better than the console.
It'll definitely look better than console.
Then play it on the PC.
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing. I haven't played the console since I don't know, maybe sometime last
Gears
year.
of War.
Yeah,
probably.
I think Gears and Devil May Cry 5 I played a little bit on the Xbox. But then I bought it on Steam and played that instead.
You know what trailer, going back to the movies that we watched, that all of us were immediately aware of how bad it was going to be, was Cats.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yeah. Speaking of which, you were right. I mean, our discussion was correct. Russ linked an article in Discord that talked about the lack of mammaries in in cats. It's a little bit weird. Yeah. It's a little bit weird to have the anthropomorphized cats with just boobs.
Well, it's also, I mean, the weird thing is they just kept their human faces.
Yeah.
They put
what's
human
the
faces
point?
on everything. And they had that. I'm curious. I tried searching for a side-by-side comparison of what the CG update, because you heard about how them pushing a CG update to the film.
They tried to Sonic the film.
Kind of.
That's what they got to call that from now on.
Sonic it.
Sonic went back to the billboard before it was fully released. This one was they just pushed out a different digital version to all the theaters.
Now
And
they
I
can
wanted
sell
to see
2
if anything
DVDs later.
changed, right? Yeah. But we knew from that first trailer, just why did everything look bad? Why did you CG every over the top of every character that was in practical effects?
The movie just looked bad. I mean, there wasn't a redeeming quality in the trailer, I don't think.
Because of the movie, I read a synopsis of the play, and the play doesn't sound good.
No, that's what I was going to bring. Cat's play itself is actually not good at all. I've done the same thing. I didn't know what it was.
What was the hype around Cats then? The Broadway?
It was like a Vogue in style esoteric thing that
Probably a
some
cult
theater lights
hit.
fucking attracted to and made it popular. And
So having it as a live
that's it, man, it's bougie.
A play is probably an experience to go to. You have singing,
Sure,
you
yeah.
have dancing, you have people in Cats outfits and stuff. And then it catches on like a meme, becomes popular. It's the thing to do, and you went to New York until it was off Broadway. But the reason it gets made into a movie is because Cats made $9 billion since it was its entire Broadway run. You know, so they're like, well, yeah, let's make
let's definitely make that movie.
I think I read the movie's on track to lose 71 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I mean, they had some huge names in that movie.
Yeah.
And it was,
Doesn't matter if they're all fucking uncanny valley
true. No,
cyborgs.
Yeah. But somebody didn't realize that.
Yeah. You know, what is it in journalism? It's a red team. Is that what they call it? When they have they'll get an important news article and they're like, we're not sure if we can legally run this or this is really big news. And you have the team works on it for weeks. And then they bring in a quote unquote red team, which is a group of people who know nothing about the story so they can get fresh eyes on it. We've been neck deep in this for a month now.
Oh, right,
we might have biases coming up because it's the trope of the police chasing the suspect for so long, he focuses in on it. They need to have that for these movies. I think.
I mean, I'd like it just to come back to journalism. That'd be
Well,
nice.
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk about journalism, but I imagine they sink so much money in these things. They take so long. Everybody's nodding, yes, man, and then just no one wants to admit that they made a hot pile of trash. I heard that even the furry community hates the movie. It's like you had one shoe in
Right.
to watch this movie, and they find it appalling.
No, it's pretty amazing that a bunch of people made that movie, and at one point during the final cut, did anybody look at anybody else and go, does this look kind of off?
Yeah.
Right? It's like
weird.
It's
about
like
this.
it's like something that's been in the fridge for too long.
Yeah,
Like it's edible, but you probably shouldn't.
sour cream's turning sweet.
I feel like you could probably spend a few grand, right, and hire somebody on Fiverr to do one of those scenes for you.
I think it would have been better as a '90s animal movie where they just do the voiceovers for the animals, like Homeward
Yeah.
Bound.
Sure.
Like that wouldn't have been good, but it would have been better.
Or
than
just
this.
do the whole thing CG. Like at the end of the day, who cares?
I
They
liked
should have gone like
I liked Homeward Bound.
Watership
Well, yeah.
down status and animated it.
Great. That would have been honestly. That would probably been kind of cool. Like it's style plus good animator.
I haven't seen Cats the play. I know nothing about it. I know that most Broadway or like stage shows tend to have acts, right? So assuming Cats is split up into segments, you could have it animated in different styles per segment, right?
Yeah,
Do you want to know
that'd
the plot of Cats?
be cool. It's a bunch of
Has something to do with scratching and fever.
Nope. No, it does not.
It's
So
not even
all right.
a contiguous plot.
Quick synopsis of the storyline of plot.
You've got 30 words.
Jellicle. So yeah, there's this word they use called jellicle. Apparently, there's a jellicle moon, and on a jellicle moon, one of the cats can be chosen to ascend to the jellicle moon, which means they die and are
Okay.
reincarnated. And so
This is more than I heard. Okay.
yes, so the plot of the movie is introducing all the cats. I think all the songs are just a cat introducing himself.
Okay.
So they introduce a new character, they sing about him. They go on to the next character, they introduce him, they sing about him over and over
This goes
again.
on.
Then there's one cat that's in charge of choosing the cat to be
Sacrificed. Please say
sacrificed,
sacrificed.
essentially. And there's an evil cat that wants to be the one to be sacrificed.
All right, it's getting better.
And then at the end, the one that was getting picked on by everybody gets chosen, and she's super happy to be sacrificed. And they put her in a hot air balloon
To go to the moon.
to go to the sun,
Oh, to go to the sun.
Oh.
Not the Jellicle Moon.
not the Jellicle moon.
Okay.
That's Russ's plot.
So
of
I
Cat-
heard,
synopsis of Cats.
I heard basically that it was a collection of short stories in which each short story is basically a cat introducing itself.
I literally could not put money down on if you just made that up or not.
No,
Yeah,
I didn't. I did not.
Like, I was kind of waiting.
I could go further. It makes it even more ridiculous. So now you have at one point the evil cat
Yes.
uses his magic, because he's a magic cat, to teleport a bunch of the other cats to like a dumpster barge.
Okay.
But it's okay because there's another magic cat on that barge that teleports them back. So that's fun.
Saved.
Yes, from magic.
Everyone knows that trash wizards are best wizards.
Now, Naughty Night brings it up in chat. She says, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt covered the Broadway show, and that wasn't a real show, and the cast is just people brave enough to dress up and join the show. The cast would rob the audience. I was going to bring that up. I was going to say that's my favorite version of Cats was
love
the
it.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt
Yeah.
Cats. Titus Andromedon was one of the best characters ever on a show.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Going back and watching 30 Rock, he basically plays the same character, I think with the same name even, which who knows? I don't know if that's maybe his real name. I have no idea. But he kind of did the same thing. That dude is just funny. Super funny.
I headcanon. Titus Andromedon is now the name of Hercules, but set in Rome in the year 10,000.
Yes.
It's just a future demigod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's accurate.
Can't change my mind now.
They got spaceships.
Well,
They
of
don't need
course.
spaceships
They're the
where they're
Romans.
Well, that's
Duh.
so it's kind of I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it's come full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Space triremes.
That'd be fun.
Oh, so his real name is Titus Burgess.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Titus Burgess, yes. I'm trying to think of something for SPQR. Space planes, quail rails.
Space, planes, and quail rails?
Yeah, that's how Rome works in the year 10,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Russ, did you finish The Witcher today?
I finished The Witcher.
How do you feel about
It's
it?
been watched.
It's been watched. I thoroughly enjoyed The Witcher. The show pretty much goes back and forth to where dumb stuff or stuff I don't like happens in an episode, but then really
Sure.
cool stuff that I love happens in an episode.
Definitely.
And the really cool stuff that happens is enough to outweigh the bad stuff. But definitely,
You're in an abusive relationship.
I am in an abusive relationship. I feel like I am with most entertainment. You have to weigh
Yeah.
the good with how much
You
bad
do.
there is. It could be that could be elevated to an entirely new level of show if they would stop doing the bad stuff, which is very obvious bad stuff. I mean, just knock that shit off. So, one of the last scenes in this episode, they're having a big fucking whiz biz showdown, right? Sorceresses are attacking each other and whatnot. And like half of them don't do much, or they do one thing. So it really irritates me that there's no consistent sense of what a power level is of a character, one of these sorceresses, or what the cost is based on the power of their spell casting. Because some of them will do a thing and like die.
Okay.
Just like straight up turn to dust because they used all their power.
What's the effect of the spell that you have to sacrifice yourself to do it?
So they made
Is
a
it
giant
badass?
fireball. So you make it,
Okay.
you're like, you focus, you make a giant fireball, right?
All right.
And then you put that giant fireball into like a trebuchet and they launch it. But then one of the other wizards is
Wait,
just
hold
like,
on. And you
just
hold on.
moves it.
You die just from loading the trebuchet?
Yeah, with one fireball.
So you're not even guaranteed to hit anything, and you die to make this fireball.
Well, the fireball's going to explode, so ideally it will cause a lot of
But no
devastation.
guarantee.
No
You could have a dud shot.
It's guaranteed to explode somewhere along its ballistic
So
arc.
you could kill your own guys.
I don't think
Yes.
it's that nebulous as when this is going to explode. You know that you're going to launch this over there. It's going to hit where it's hitting and explode.
Regardless, that's not worth sacrificing yourself.
No, it's
for.
not. It's dumb. Why would
Because
ever do
you
that?
have regular fire stones you could throw on there.
Was there anything like that in the books of the games? Completely like random cost for casting magic? Like you never know which spell's going to be your last?
No.
Okay.
No.
so
there's
then
no
other
precedent.
people.
They're implying that like those one side is willing to do forbidden magics and whatnot at any cost, but it just from a tactics sense it doesn't make sense. If you have like 3 wizards and you're going up against like 15 wizards, you're not going to let 2 of your wizards die, especially when like one of them dies doing this and it didn't work. Like so you like threw a giant fireball and then one of the wizards over there was just like nah, and it explodes over there, doesn't do anything. You don't turn to your other wizard and be like,
All right, who's next?
do it again. You know, and the whole premise was that
That's
like
bad.
they're trying to wear them out.
We got 3 shots. One of them's got to make it through.
Yeah, and I'm like, it didn't seem like it really wore out any but maybe one mage, and even that was questionable. And 2, it didn't work. So you just killed 2 of your mages off, and nothing worked. And then oh my god, they kept saying this thing like twice I think in the episode. They do something with magic, and they say something along the lines like, "It's just magic. It's not real." And I'm like, what?
No wonder the fireball didn't work.
It just makes no. Like at one point, Yennefer takes some arrows because this woman's like, "Oh, we need more fletchings," but our supply ship, blah blah,
Ran
blah.
out of ducks.
So that's what I was like. I literally turned to Sharon. I was like, "Are there no birds in this forest? Like that's
They're gone.
just make some more goddamn fletchings."
Yeah.
But Yennefer grabs a handful of them and magics like them into a bunch more, and she's so it's just magic. They're not real, and I'm like. So that implies 2 things. 1, you're just
Everyone's
saying really
tripping.
dumb shit.
Yeah.
Or 2, you just made fake fletchings, and what the
Yeah.
fuck does she need fake fletchings for? Like, what are those going to do? Don't worry, your archers won't know that these are just sticks.
Yeah, what
They
is,
launch out of the boat and just start fucking
Yeah.
tumbling end over end.
Oh, man.
Side note real quick. Jorg Sprav, Slingshot Channel, German guy. You know what I'm talking about?
oh,
Let
yes.
me show
Yeah,
you
yeah,
its
yeah.
features. I love this guy. I've been watching him for years.
Great show.
There's a lot of heavy restrictions in Germany about guns, but they've got this Byzantine law about all other manner of weapons, and he knows the laws very well, and he makes all kinds of semi-primitive / air-powered weapons. He recently invented what he calls the instant Legolas, and it's essentially you take a bow and arrow and you put what looks like a crossbow stock on it, and the string of the arrow slides down the middle of this wooden shaft you're attaching to the bow, and it has a bolt carrier full of arrows. And when the string gets to the back, just a little tension rod pushes an arrow in, and you can let go. And you can brace it, and you can take any bow, find the right sized instant Legolas, you attach, it takes like 2 minutes, and you can literally shoot like arrow, 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 arrow. And it's like kind of blown up on the internet because it's not a crazy concept. It's
What's this
kind
guy's
of
name?
His channel's the Slingshot channel.
Okay.
His name I think is Jörg Sprav. It's German. But if they had thought of this back when arrows mattered, it's like a machine gun. It's fucking nuts. And it's been really cool watching I've got a bunch of YouTubers that do medieval Renaissance stuff, and they're all getting copies of it and reviewing it. They're like, this is pretty crazy. So pretty neat.
I saw him busted out with the longbow.
Yeah. Also, Amber Alert. We were shopping at Fred Meyer. I don't remember how the topic came
We
up.
lost Nick.
Yeah, we lost. Yeah, so
Nick ran off.
we were kind of together in the
scared
store.
the
at
bejesus
least
out of us.
the two of us, Andrew and I.
So we
and-
all walked in and went our separate ways,
Yeah.
and apparently that's not what we were doing.
No, it's what we were doing. You were fine. We were making a joke.
Okay.
You scared me.
Anyways, yeah, he said about to have an Amber Alert, and I said something to the effect of, I never understood like where the threat level of Amber is. Like, do you need to be like moderately concerned because it's not a red alert? And then these people tell me somehow they know Amber was an actual person,
It's a name.
and it's not referring to the color.
Yeah.
Things you know.
I was like, it's got to be between yellow and red, like ochre's in there somewhere,
Oh,
vermilion.
man, that's awesome.
And I was like,
Threat level
it
midnight.
seems kind of offensive to be like, your child's missing. Amber seems like a good threat level.
Yeah.
To keep an eye out for a kid with a scary dude, right?
Or don't. I mean, it's just an amber.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's whatever, dude.
This isn't Azure,
Just give the dirty stink eye to every Honda Civic you pass. Cause
pretty
that's
much. But yeah, I asked them like, how did you find out it was a person? Like, it's common knowledge, and
It's
apparent-
adjacent to like Code Adam.
yeah, but Code
it's like-
Adam, it's a dude's name. Like, Amber was a color before it was a missing child.
Sure.
Wow.
Right? They don't have like Operation like Forest. If I heard that Walmart had an Operation Forest, it would be like, oh, that poor kid. I'd be like, what are they doing to those trees?
who gave them so many trees.
Operation Northwoods.
There's no Operation Forest.
Okay,
That
I'm
you
claiming
know
it.
of. Your clearance level's not high enough.
That's true.
Yeah.
My clearance level is pretty low.
So I was today's one of the 10,000, according to XKCD. I learned the new thing. Amber was a person.
Do you feel belittled and demeaned as a human because you learned a new thing that other people knew today?
No, because it happens to 10,000 people a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
it.
Any given kind of subject. Like, there's a kind of funny webcomic about it on XKCD. But
Okay.
I just assume I'm wrong all the time, and then you don't feel bad about things.
Pretty much.
I do that a lot too.
Yeah.
I just constantly doubt myself. I'm like, I know this, but do I though?
That's my default state until, like, usually people open their mouths. I'm like, okay, no, I'm right. I'm just not going to say anything about it.
Okay, so as soon as somebody wants to argue with the facts that you doubt yourself on,
Well, it's not like this guy comes up and he's like, Earth is flat. And I'm like, well, from the position of I'm always wrong, I'm really going to have to take that into consideration. So
Should really take it into consideration.
I can't. Consideration has the word C in it, and C is round.
That's
Whoa.
disprove the flat Earth theory.
Using their logic
Also-
against them.
Has an O,
Yeah.
which is rounder.
Oh, yeah.
O is actually ancient Sumerian for flat disc.
That's where we get pancakes from.
Yep. Ancient Sumeria.
Sumer is a type of topping you put on it
It's a syrup.
with sage.
Actually, you're wrong. It's a dry powder. Just to make
you still- you
pancakes
still put
You
work.
it
just
on.
sprinkle it. You do a little bam.
you just put it in some water and it makes blue milk. Speaking of which,
Blue Milk.
we finished Mandalorian.
It's our
tonight.
sponsor today.
We finished
Oh.
Mandalorian.
I wasn't entirely sure where you were going. It's like you're looking at me, and I'm like, I don't remember a
Blue
blue
milk.
milk.
I just wanted to
reference.
They
catch
have
that
blue
segue out of
milk
the air and
in
use it.
Raid Shadow Legends. That
Play it
game.
now.
Time for tonight's ad spot. No, but really, yeah, we finished The Mandalorian, and I think we all kind of agree that it was maybe our favorite episodes each of us.
Yes, it was the best episode.
I
of
mean,
The
it's my
Mandalorian.
favorite. Like watching a puppy get its foot stuck in something sticky and it's dancing around. You're like, that is retarded, but it's kind of funny.
I don't know.
It was my least favorite like actual episode of the whole show.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
It was the
so
only one I've liked of everyone I've seen.
It was so everything happens because the plot we wrote has to happen.
Finally.
There's no reason. There's no logic.
Who cares? At least there's a reason now.
There is no reason. That's what I'm saying.
This is the way.
There was. This is the way.
Well, the way got lost back at Albuquerque.
Do you know the way?
No,
it was
gotta
hilarious.
He's got to take
there's
Yoda
a lot
home.
of really funny moments.
That's his prerogative now.
Yeah.
He's got to take Baby Yoda home,
Okay,
and Baby Yoda's going to
does
become.
that take a
bounty
whole
hunter.
episode to tell me that? They could just be like, "I'm taking him home." End of the season.
Well, I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. It's because I liked it. So shut up.
Cool.
So I really enjoyed it. It was like the most camp and kind of silly of the episodes, I think. But I liked that it didn't take itself too seriously. Like we could have used a little bit more of that in episode 3 when he goes to the Thicky McChick
Why
planet.
would we have such a serious, like, the stakes are high episode before this, just to go full extra chromosome in this episode?
Because the tone of the show has swayed so much.
That's not a good reason for it to be a wacky episode.
It's not a good reason for it to be a good episode, but it's kind of what you come to expect, which means that this was a good episode.
It's good because I
It-
expect it. Oh, we had a good episode. The
No,
next one has to
honestly.
be bad, therefore it's now good.
They swung back around, is how I feel, because they had a couple bad episodes. There were literally a couple episodes that I just did not care for.
That's fair.
And then it came back.
I think the two worst episodes is Shrimp Planet
Yep.
and the one before this one.
Yeah, the one before this one was
It was very much a setup episode,
yeah.
Yeah,
but
was-
it had the tone of the Mandalorian that I want out of the Mandalorian.
I'd rather have a setup episode than a filler episode, and that's why I think I forgive last episode, the previous episode.
I feel like this was a filler episode, and it was the last episode of the season. The stakes were high, and then they won, and then a bunch of shit happened, including R2-D2 with a stick and lava rivers, and now he's taking Yoda home.
They had the most story exposition and
Yeah.
backstory in any episode, and you're
they
saying that this
put
was
it
a filler
all
episode?
in the last episode
How is
of
that
the
a filler
season.
episode?
Because they dumped it on us through exposition.
the
I would
definition
say-
of a filler episode is that nothing happens. They just put it in to get to the next
Yeah,
episode.
I would say for some
Yeah, I can
reason,
see
and the
that.
flaw of the entire season is that everything up until this episode was a filler episode.
So we were led, like we had a talk about, and once we understood that was what the show was going to be, we were okay with it.
I was never okay
and now
with
that
it.
they dump a whole bunch of plot on us, that makes it a good episode.
I was okay with it because I accepted it. I thought that it was good enough to continue watching,
Okay.
but it wasn't an excellent show.
I don't think a show's quality is dependent on my acceptance of their changing things.
Well, I think that they changed it for the better. I liked the show more
That's
than I
totally
did
fair.
prior.
I did not like it. I thought it was funny in a lot of parts. It was fun to watch,
Yeah.
but it was stupid.
I'm not even going to argue
yeah,
that it was
I will
stupid.
say that it was I will say it was as stupid as The Mandalorian has been at any point.
In a good way. Like I was
Yeah.
laughing with Andy. It was great,
but I did
there's no
I
logic
did
in
like
that
this episode more because there was some sort of purpose revealed, right? Like, okay,
Yeah.
I
We
want someone to elaborate on this concept that there's no logic involved in this episode.
Okay, well let's start.
the
Where did the episode open up with? They're stuck in the room.
that's right.
They say
So
they have no exit.
they have this big old gun, and then they go, "We're going to give you till sundown."
Yeah,
before
why
we
not just
blow you
shoot
up."
them there?
They're not aware that the Yoda's not in the building there with them.
But then later on he decides to burn them all with a flamethrower,
And
so that nullifies that.
After they know that Yoda's in there.
how are
Yeah.
they not aware that
Yeah.
he's not with them?
So
'Cause
they're not
the
going to
scouts-
shoot
the
them
scout
because
troopers have
Yoda
already-
might be in there, and then later on in the episode, knowing that Yoda's in there, they then light the
Send a
building on
blaze
fire.
trooper.
Right? There's a lava river with a boat. Right, that's one thing, and then the boat's not stopping. We shoot the droid, and then they can't stop the boat. Grab the fucking stick in his hand.
That was so funny.
right. What were the other things?
Nobody else really seemed concerned that the boat didn't stop, other than derpy-ass Carl
I know.
Weathers.
The whole
No,
it was point with the boat not
the
stopping
rebel
is they
who
were
said
going to
it.
die if they went outside because there was a quote unquote whole battalion of stormtroopers, and then suddenly the Mandalorian has feelings that IG-11 is going to have to sacrifice himself after setting up the whole season that he hates droids with a fucking passion.
Well, that's because he finally got somebody to gaze upon his face.
Maybe that's
And
what it
that
is.
was the.
I mean,
emotional
I will
connection.
agree with you there. I think that the character's disposition towards droid switching in that moment was impractical.
It was a little funky.
It was
Yeah.
the vulnerability of the helmet being removed.
But I still don't feel like this whole episode was lacking in logic. It was all fairly straightforward, intermixed with some
IG-11's
poor decisions.
role is to protect the baby, and the first thing he does when he gets it is he goes into combat.
When I
Right, it's like it's completely counterintuitive to what the show literally just told us. He's fine because he has plot armor and Yoda can't get hit. But realistically, if you have a droid program to protect a baby, he's not going to take him into a town with dozens of people wanting to kill him. Right, that doesn't make any sense at all. So that's what I mean by like logic. Like the show, what happens in the show happens to make the plot work, which makes for really good Star Wars, because that's what Star Wars is we do all these things to make the plot happen, but there's no reasoning behind their actions, right? They talk about being stuck in this place, there's no way out, yet there's a door on the left side of the building that leads to an alleyway that they show later on in the episode. They couldn't have just left through the door, because all the stormtroopers are on the other side of the building, right? It's little things like that that just make the building have the door on the front where the stormtroopers are. Then that nullifies that little thing that made me think, why don't they just leave the building? They're sitting there at the, what's his name? The big guy with the Darksaber. He has this big, long purple prose exposition during his fucking rant. Just leave.
Did you call it purple prose?
Yeah, that's what it
What's that
is.
mean?
It's super flowery language,
Oh,
right?
okay.
I thought it was kind of interesting.
Okay.
It was neat to see a villain that was like, and now I'm going to do this exact thing with this exact method, and then you are going to not enjoy it. But yeah, it's just moment after moment. It's like, why do they have sewers in a place with no rain? Why are the sewers so big in this tiny town that they're lost? Why is there a lava river? Like, why do they have a boat for the lava river? Just don't put a canal down there. It's fucking lava. There's a bunch of furry animals running up to the edge of the lava, and they're not bursting into flame. Just one little thing after another I was watching. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. It's okay, though, because I know with Star Wars, you just got to ignore those things and enjoy the show for what it is. But it was so much one after another, and I didn't have a whole lot of those in other episodes of The Mandalorian. There were every once in a while, like the episode with the shrimp planet. But after such a serious, like, the stakes are really high, very much a Western, everyone might die, got to go sacrifice ourselves to return and fight the bad guys so that we can be cleared and we won't be hunted for the rest of our life. Let's open with stormtroopers having a funny scene. It was like so antithetical to how the last episode ended that I felt like they made this episode not having even seen the episode before.
I don't remember the last episode having that much gravitas. I mean,
Everything was at the end. They were captured. The Glurg guy was killed. Baby Yoda was captured. They were stuck in the place with nowhere to go. They were literally like out of options, right? That's how the last episode ended. So
I guess they were trying to make it have gravitas, but I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't capture that, but I think that is what they were
it's
probably
Star Wars.
going
You
for.
know they're gonna win, but that's kind of besides the point. You can still make a good episode, even though you know the protagonists are gonna survive.
I get what you mean, and none of what happened is clever, right? I thought it was fun.
And that's what
Yeah.
I mean when I say like, as stupid as anything. Not that like things don't logically make sense. It's that there are just reasons for conflict or situations to exist that
Oh, sorry.
don't make sense. Like, why didn't they just go in and capture him at the beginning? They had him overwhelmed.
It's just a video game, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just a video
And
game
so
show.
to that degree, like we had remarked after the open that like, oh, that might have been the best scene that I've seen. And it was just those two dudes having a real conversation on top of some bitchin' looking speeder bikes in some bitchin' armor. Everything looked good and the conversation felt real.
Yeah.
And conversation doesn't often feel real in like the Star Wars offshoots and in the newer movies. And so it was really refreshing to just, I don't know, have like sort of this real conversation in a Star Wars universe, as opposed to this conversation that was campy lines or
Just
some
corny
sort
stuff.
of exposition of power through dialogue.
I really like that Stormtrooper scene. It
was
baffled me that it took
It
place
carried
like,
the rest of the episode.
right there. But
in my
yeah,
mind.
it was great. I mean, I think that's literally the most Stormtrooper talk we've gotten, which isn't a hard bar to beat. But
Right.
yeah,
And then like fucking missing the whatever.
Yeah,
they're
they're-
shooting
Yeah,
at.
that was
That
fucking
is
really
okay.
funny.
That thing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. I don't. I said after, man, we were like 3/4 episodes into this series, I've changed what I was feeling about this show, and I'm like, okay, let's just have some
Yeah.
fun. It's gonna
Yeah.
be goofy.
I think Andy's right.
This
You
was the
kind
most
of
fun
have to
episode
take
for
the
me.
episodes like piecemeal. They kind of are a bit all over the place. Some
They're-
of them were really entertaining. Some
It's
of
not a
them-
bad idea just to watch every episode with no
It's like its
expectation
own
from
thing.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
own
And
thing.
that's kind of what I let go. I was as soon as we started to get like episode 3 happened, Shrimpland, and it just really the tone changed,
Shrimp swamp.
the
So
Shrimp Swamp.
everything changed.
I think
in
we
that
had talked
episode.
about grading The Mandalorian at one point, and I said if I give it a G, I would. But if I had just watched this
a
episode,
G.
C minus.
Yeah, he wants to go
Yeah.
lower than.
Yeah, if
Lower
I go
than F.
lower than an F
G
for The
stands
Mandalorian.
for good.
No, we're talking about
No, grades.
scholastic grading scale.
Oh,
There's no G,
credible.
but
What
Instead
does
of
what does C
terrible,
mean?
terrible,
Grotesquely terrible.
carable.
Okay,
It's carable.
That's
it's
okay.
like the C in school. It's okay.
That's good.
Acceptable.
Acceptable.
Much better.
Oh man.
It's just acceptable. Don't worry about
yeah.
it.
Christmas. Was,
Hold on.
Oh.
on.
But yeah, just this episode would have got a C minus. That's why I brought that up.
This
Your
episode got a C
opinions
minus.
on Star
Or brought
it
Wars
up
do
too?
not matter.
It would have. No, if The Mandalorian was just this episode, The Mandalorian would get like a C minus.
You fell
Okay.
asleep when Palpy dropped a beat. I mean, like of
Yeah,
all the
dude.
times to
That's
fall
true.
asleep.
Get out of here with that shit.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Russ?
Okay, so Witcher, having just finished that up, I
yeah.
do want to point out, because we also talked about Cyberpunk 2077, and
Yeah.
it just dawned on me that them swooping up the rights to the Witcher series, it's possible at some point in the future we could see a Cyberpunk 2077 show, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That became a lot more feasible now that this has happened, and dear Lord, that could be good.
Could
I don't
be.
even know what the plot is. I just want more Cyberpunk shit.
It's got to be high budget. The issue there is
Did
if
you
this-
watch Altered Carbon?
Altered
Sure,
Carbon was good.
I get it, but The Witcher is high budget, and their CG is fucking awful.
You don't need to do the CG as much.
They're going to. It's the future. There will be more CG. Like,
But that's what
Come
I
on.
really appreciate about Altered Carbon is that there's a lot of just practical sets that they built.
they could have made practical sets for The Witcher. They exist. Like, just use them from other movies.
It's not the problem with The Witcher about what they don't make or not having the practical sets. It's what they choose to CG.
I know it's, but everything they choose to CG is pretty bad. Not everything.
think that
There's a
this
couple things that
shows-
are totally passable.
that money has no bearing on the quality of your CG.
It doesn't. Right.
Actually, at the end of the day, if you have some like daft cabbage deciding where to put CG in,
Well, someone just told me the other day that Cavill had to convince them to increase the CG budget. Like he went to bat to try to get the CG budget increased. I'm like, it was lower than where they were at
haven't seen
before.
it yet.
Like, but no, it's my biggest complaint is like they have some good CG, or at least passable CG that it's
Yeah.
not detracting from the scene.
For sure.
And then they have the ones where they're like in a ballroom. And I'm like, you couldn't found a fancy hall,
Right,
to
I
fucking
know.
shoot- Like, how many fucking Renaissance era British monarchy
Yeah.
fucking shows exist
Well,
now?
and
I
how
know.
expensive is it to like make a ballroom that isn't that look like that for the purposes of a TV show?
That's
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
literally.
it's a
and it will
70s.
always look better.
Instead you have, like,
CG should be
8
there to accent effects, not to be the crutch upon which those
Absolutely.
effects are.
Magic, you have to kind of do CG.
Yes.
Yeah, the magic CG is not bad. It is.
It's
what
okay.
It depends on what you're talking about. You talking about the Doctor Strange shit? That fucking was awesome.
Did
and
you
it was
know
the
Doctor Strange is one of the like lowest grossing Marvel movies?
That's a shame
Yeah.
because
That
it
is a shame.
was one of the best.
I agree.
And it was like that was the first time I have seen magic done in a way that satisfied my imagination
It was
on
very
screen. where it didn't look hokey. It didn't look like kids fucking waving around wands. It looked like what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Fucking
good stuff.
cool.
But
It's a
anyway,
shame that it was
I would
lowest
love to see
grossing.
some Cyberpunk 2077.
Hell
Altered
yeah.
Carbon wasn't perfect, thoroughly enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see more Cyberpunk stuff.
Yeah. I personally haven't seen much Cyberpunk stuff. I've just like seen like pictures of it, you know. Not a lot of shows or
It's like real life today, but not just the shitty parts.
right.
Well, but I mean, Blade Runner.
Yeah, no, if that's considered cyberpunk, then yeah, no, I've
Yeah.
seen that.
That is pretty classic,
It's like
Cyberpunk.
cyber noir.
I'm sorry,
which is kind of just.
I was mistaking cyberpunk with steampunk. I was
Oh.
imagining a lot more
Okay.
gears and levers.
Yeah, nothing has been. I think the last steampunk
Wild,
movie was
Wild West.
Yeah, exactly.
and it was so fucking terrible that they never touched steampunk ever again.
Was it Kevin Smith that tells a story about how he hung out with the guy who made it, and the guy, he was like high off his mind, and he watched a documentary on spiders, and he decided to then like mid-production put a giant spider in Wild Wild West.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It was a great story. I think it was Kevin Smith. And he's like, yeah, the dude's just he just keep changing. He'd do drugs.
Dude just likes
and then just add
spiders.
stuff to the movie. It's like, that's fucking amazing. But yeah,
I feel like does the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes get a little steampunky?
Yeah, it does
with
a
his
little bit.
gadgetry.
I feel like he's got some gadgets.
I only saw the trailer though, so I don't know exactly.
You should know the whole movie then. You've got your Cliff Notes version.
I mean, if cyberpunk is neon lights, low life, gutter drugs, and that kind of stuff, then steampunk is gears and steamships, right? I don't think
Definitely like
we've seen any
cyberpunk more.
real like Zeppelin movies.
Oh, I guess his Dark Materials is kind of steampunky.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen it yet. That would make sense.
because they have airships and
yeah.
gadgets and gizmos that aren't like electronic and whatnot.
Speaking of cyberpunk,
That's what we're doing.
Dune's coming,
That's not cyberpunk.
but it's
All right, you guys ready to take a break?
I am 100% okay to take a break. from
Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a break.
Dune
We'll be
is
right
coming.
back, guys. Hey everyone, I just wanted to take a second to welcome any newcomers to the Balcony Time podcast and thank those of you that have already been listening to us for a while. I also wanted to take a moment of your time to remind you that we stream the podcast live every Sunday night around 8 Pacific on twitch.tv/videogametango. You can also find the video on demand there or the Balcony Time podcast YouTube channel. You can also, of course, always find the audio-only version anywhere you listen to podcasts. Again, thank all of you new and longtime listeners for the support, feedback, and all the fun we've had. Now let's get back to the Balcony Time podcast.
All right, so you're stuck on a deserted island and you can only bring one book out of these three. You have to pick. I'm Gay for My Living Billionaire Jet Plane, Bigfoot Sommelier Butt Tasting, or Unicorn Butt Cops Beach Patrol.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Unicorn Butt Cops on Patrol.
Out of these three books, you can only bring one. I will also allow Seduced by Dr. Bigfoot, Attorney at Large.
I don't need to hear the other choices.
That's just on my reading list already, so I think I have to take that one.
No, repeat the question. Repeat the question.
Glazed by the Gay Living Donuts. That's your question.
I need to know who does the audiobook versions.
Yeah.
Is it Celebrity Cast?
Pounded in the Butt by My Own Butt.
That, I remember that one.
Yeah.
I remember
There's some
that.
audio.
It's a good
There's
book.
audiobooks out here.
The ones
So
I remember
we
were all,
are.
like Velociraptor related.
Yeah, this is author Chuck Tingle. He writes gay niche erotica,
What the hook toe is really for?
gay T-Rex law firm, executive boner, right? Space Raptor butt invasion. I have
Space
yet
Raptor.
to read any of these, but
Handsome zombie elevator.
mhm. Shared by the Chocolate Milk Cowboys. Yeah.
Sounds delightful.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good.
Makes my clorp tingle.
Yeah.
My clorp's been tingling since the day I was born.
He's a lifelong clorp tingler.
Lifelong clorp tingler.
Pounded in the Butt by my book, Pounded in the Butt.
Getting
break-
real meta with his
breaking
books.
that shit
Yeah.
fourth wall through the.
I wonder if,
walls
is there like a
of the
continuing
fourth.
character? Is it just him? I don't know.
Maybe it's just Chuck Dingle. Yeah,
Yeah, could be.
could be.
Maybe it's a biography.
It's, well, this dude's ripped. I mean, he's got that going for him.
Good for him.
Yeah. What did we do over the holidays of note that is worth talking about?
Oh, I didn't do anything special.
None of us have children,
Yeah.
so
True.
we're winning.
Fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I said it to all you breeders out there. No, I'm kidding.
I did have a really enjoyable Christmas Eve because that's when the family got together.
Yeah, you were around children.
It was fun. Yeah. It was. I mean, I didn't have to take any of them home with me, so that's the thing. Over like, once I give all the gifts and I do all the cool shit and do the Uncle Andy thing, I get to go home and
I did the same thing.
It's
Yeah.
it's kids that make Christmas fun.
It is,
Otherwise,
100%.
as an adult with no kids, you're just like, I
This
got
is
the day
disgusting.
off.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now that being said, like we usually have the fun white elephant thing, which I wasn't really a part of this year, but that's usually a lot of fun though. Like I look forward to that pretty much all year.
Your TV's haunted.
I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
What did our TV do?
Haunted looking
Turned
things.
on.
Oh, okay.
It's like on and off, and then back
And
to
the
the
scary
homepage.
thing is, we unplugged it.
No, I mean, I flew up to my mom's, and so I had my
Pounded
brother's
in the butt
kids around
by
and
my
stuff.
ghost
It's a lot of fun watching kids open presents. And
You flew up to your mom's?
last year,
Oh, last year.
last
I was
year.
like, what? What?
Pounded in
Yeah,
my
you don't remember that?
TV
I was
with
there for
my
an
butt.
afternoon.
Yeah, you
flew
were there for
back.
like 45 minutes.
Yeah. It's like, what's up? They probably would have been like, yeah, you should do that. But no, as an adult and having no familial obligations to
Yeah.
go to, it was a pleasant day off from work.
hmm
Got some house cleaning done.
I didn't do a fucking thing.
I had the awkward pass the phone around video chat
Oh, yeah.
where nobody ever feels comfortable or knows quite what they should be doing
Yeah.
while that's happening.
Hi.
Wait, let me hand you over to
Dude,
Jimmy.
I like
All right, you want to see the next person? Cool, because I'm done.
I've run out of things to say.
I can do this all day. Like I can live stream, but having just doing phone conversations, like video phone shit, that's stupid. I fucking hate that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Like I don't like when I see people FaceTiming in public, I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, yeah, in
That's
public?
yeah, get out of here.
I
That's
see
the
that
fucking
too.
worst. I hate that shit.
Yeah, I don't. People that just use their phones so frequently when they're out in public doing stuff, like shopping.
Yeah.
I really just don't like as anything really that important. Unless like a lot of times you can hear their conversation, at least
Yeah.
part of it. You know they're not trying to figure out what fucking cereal to buy or toilet shits. They're having non-shopping related conversations
Yeah.
with people, which I feel like shopping related conversations are the only ones that should be going on while you're shopping. If you have to take a phone call.
I guess I just don't talk on the phone much. Like talking on the phone to me is a fucking burden.
Yeah, I don't understand how people do it.
You know that did shift though, because like Nick and I used to talk on the phone for fucking hours.
Everybody did.
Yeah, I guess
that
it was different then.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I was ever a big fan of being on the phone.
I used to spend a lot of time on the phone as a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember as a teenager being able to have a phone conversation for like 45 minutes to an hour.
Easy,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Especially with
You did it all.
girlfriends.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's why
especially
I've
with
done
girls.
it, but
Girlfriends.
it's still not pleasant.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I still talk to people on Discord and shit. It just feels different.
I just don't like talking to people.
Oh, well,
Discord's
that's-
typing, yeah. Typing.
Doing
is-
this
is
No, I mean,
different.
I'll do voice.
Oh.
Yeah. I do that kind of regularly. Yeah. I'll join a group voice chat.
What if you had to hold your computer up to your ear?
Well, the thing's a beast.
I will say that there's an like the video chat thing. I think is exacerbated by the fact that you're having to constantly hold the camera,
Maybe.
and so you're like holding the camera, and you know that anyone that's looking at the camera is staring at your face and nothing but your face. Whereas they get all like send the camera around, they get to pass it off to people, and I'm stuck here just who's gonna look at me next.
Hey.
But the times I've had long phone conversations, it's usually in a manner which I'm not locked into just holding the phone.
Sure.
So like if I have my Bluetooth headset in, I can sit out on the balcony and like I'll talk to somebody fine because then it's like I'm just sitting there having a conversation. I'll talk on the phone for hours. I can look stuff up on my phone. I can smoke a cigarette. I can come in the house and walk around, make myself some food, what have you, and it's a lot. You know, I have hands free.
Yeah.
There's definitely an increase in enjoyment if I'm not just sitting there holding a phone trying to have a conversation with the person.
Definitely. I agree with that. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So the next time, audience, you have to talk on the phone for a long time. Just duct tape it to your head.
It would work.
Just like a pirate
Probably
eye
would.
patch.
I could honestly say that there's been times that I have wrapped a phone to my head just so I didn't have
Tuck
to
it in
hold
your
there.
beanie.
That's how you
Yep,
get the
Done
cancer.
that.
That's how you get the brain cancer.
Yeah.
There's no avoiding that.
That's why your clorps are tingling.
No, my clorps are not tingling. They are at ease. His clorps are tingling because he's a goddamn clorp tingler.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're not tingling clorps, what are you doing?
Living.
Uh,
A healthy lifestyle.
would anybody call that living?
You're overexciting your clorps.
I traded out my clorps for splines.
That's smart.
Reticulate them daily.
That's an upgrade of just nonsensical bullshit that we're talking about.
Yeah.
I found after finishing The Expanse, the newest season, and reading the hey Sharon,
Hey, baby.
Hola.
reading the subreddit, there is an app that has Langbelta, the Belter Creole, on it, a language learning app,
Cool.
and I started learning it. And all I can remember is "Mi no sasa Langbelta," which means I cannot speak the Belter Creole.
That's an
But
important one.
It's been pretty fun.
So
learning
you're
it.
as far as most bilingual Americans, and
Yep.
just being
Yeah.
able
I
to
can't
say,
speak your language.
Do you know mine?
Yeah, pretty much.
Please conform to my language.
Now, I had 6 days off because we had Tuesday, Wednesday off. I took Thursday, Friday off, get Saturday, Sunday off, and I pretty much slept for 60% of it and played games the other 40%. It's been
What did you play?
fantastic. I played some more Demon Crawl, which is a Minecraft roguelike, and it's fun. Not Minecraft, Minesweeper.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, you're talking about that.
Minesweeper
Yeah.
roguelike, yes. Dawn of Man, which is a kind of base building society management game where everyone's cavemen. And Mindustry, which was it was originally a phone game, and I tried it on the phone, but it was way too detailed, and I had fat fingers, and I couldn't play it. But it's kind of like Factorio. And
Okay.
then...
That's where you get some blue stacks and just play it on the computer.
Boom, boom.
Pretty much. Well, I just got Ministry on the computer. It's on Steam. It's $2. And then Astroneer, which I sunk in like 13 hours today because I got up at 3 in the morning.
I also tried Astroneer over the last couple days. And it's funny because we talked about Subnautica, and it's Subnautica, but you're just an astronaut on an alien planet as opposed to being underwater on an alien planet.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's more than that, but it's pretty much a good analogy.
I didn't get far enough into Subnautica to encounter anything other than that. I don't know if there are ever
Subnautica
alien
has
creatures.
a storyline, and Astroneer is much more about energy allocation, resource management, and planning.
What is the objective of Astroneer? Is it to build a ship to get off the planet?
No, you do that pretty quickly. I mean, the end game is you've activated all the MacGuffins, and there's no storyline. So I
What
mean,
do you
it's
mean
like,
activated all the MacGuffins?
well, it's spoilers.
Well, I mean, so
So-
stuff happens that's like
There
it gives
are
you
things-
an objective. Because currently there's no objectives in
You are never
You're trying
told
to find the Sith homeworld.
at
dude.
all in
It's
Astroneer.
Hold
testicle.
on,
We know
hold
this.
on.
It's testicle. Testicle is the Sith Jedi homeworld. It's all of them.
I started playing it when it came out. I played it off and on the last couple of years. I think they added a tutorial, but I never played it. There is no story. There's literally, they never tell you what to do.
I played the tutorial,
Okay.
and the tutorial is just there to get you familiar with the initial concepts of the game. There's no story involved.
What I like about Astroneer a lot is that in most games where you're doing kind of 4X stuff, exploring, exploiting, expanding, and whatnot, you have this initial really fun, engaging gameplay loop in the beginning where everything's fresh and new and you have limited resources and you're doing one thing at a time, but you quickly balloon past that and it's kind of aimless. And in Astroneer, by setting you on different planets, you start on this one, you go through the initial gameplay loop, you learn the beginning things, and then you very quickly get a machine that allows you to just produce with time the resources that you used to have to produce with labor. And then once you eventually get your initial shuttle, you go to other planets. Each planet has certain resources that can only be found on that planet. So if you want to make better batteries, you have to fly to this planet to get lithium. And so you have to set up a whole new base there, and you're going to do it better than you did the first time because you know what you're doing this time around. and you get a bunch of lithium, you bring it back to your home planet and you make your better batteries. But then you want to upgrade to start making plastics and graphene and hydrazine and all these things. You got to go to the different planets. And each time you go to the new planet, you kind of have to start from scratch. But every time you launch, you have bigger and better rockets and carry more and more stuff. And you get to the point where, like my last trip, I went to a new planet. I was able to package literally an entire base on my rocket. I got there and just unloaded it and set it up.
Okay.
Which was, it feels really satisfying to go through those gameplay loops and progressively understand the game better and know, okay, I have to make sure that I'm producing at least 10 power per second to power the smelter and the refinery and the plastic generator.
Sure.
And this planet doesn't have any wind, but it has really good solar, so I have to make sure I bring solar panels.
I ran into a problem really early on where I built my first research thing that will scan the random
Give you research points.
yeah. So I get it and I build it and stuff, and like I find a thing, I walk the thing all the way back to my base and put it in there, and then like there's these mechanical rings that go around it as it's supposed to like scan, but mine are just kind of like doing this and doing this, and I'm looking at the control panel for it and I'm like, it's missing power, but so I'm like walking around the machine, there's no plug-in to turn the power on for it. And at one point I walked away from it and I was like, okay, well maybe it just takes a really long time for this machine to scan this rock, and came back like an hour later and nothing had changed. And I'm like, something's broken.
Yeah, you didn't plug it in.
I didn't put it on a fucking table.
Yeah, everything has to be put on tables to route power through.
Not everything.
Well, yeah, I
That's
think
that's what confused me.
Some of the earlier items will kind of make their own little table when you
Yeah.
put them down, like the tiny
the
solar
small
panel.
printer, I think,
Yeah.
doesn't need a table.
There's a handful of small things, but yeah, later on everything's based off tables.
Yeah.
And then your power routing becomes an issue later on.
I noticed that
and
they
all
were giving you tools for power routing, like amplifiers and splitters and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay. Also, it was surprising when like I had found a bunch of cable extensions, but it was just like one item, and I'm like, okay, that's neat. And it wasn't later until I realized that one item actually had like 6 power
Yeah, you
extensions. You
could
got to
keep
take them
using
off
them.
of that, and then they expand out into an actual thing. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, the game has no combat. There are some hazards that you have to be aware of, but the core gameplay loop really doesn't need it. But there's cool things. You'll find these essentially what amount to treasure chests out on the planet. So these exo research.
I found one.
These 4-sided pyramid-looking things, and they either need a certain amount, an exact amount of power per second plugged into them, or they need a special resource that you have to like sacrifice to open the box. And you normally don't have any means of producing power when you're out and about. So I'll go on treasure chest runs where I will carry around a tractor trailer with a bunch of storage, carrying a bunch of generators and batteries of various types, so that when I find one and I realize, okay, this needs like 7 power per second, I have to do some quick math and say that's 2 solar panels, a generator, and an RTG. And then you set up a table, you get it plugged in, and it pops open. You get a like little confetti thing. You're like, yeah, I found some nano steel alloy, and it's like it would have taken me 10 hours to get this. So, yeah. And then the mining's great. It's voxel based as opposed to like the cubes that Minecraft uses, so you can get pretty elaborate structures. The cave systems are much more enjoyable than in Minecraft. There's actual stuff down there.
That's
They're
where I found my first exo research box. Was I just started digging down and like found a cave system. And
something that's really neat is you can keep digging, and you'll notice that you start jumping higher and you start moving
Go to
funny.
the other side.
No, you go to the core of the planet.
Okay.
And the gravity gets less and less because you're at the core of the planet.
That's fun.
And then you get to the core and there's this like alien sphere there, and you're like, what the hell is that thing? And yeah, there is like a little bit of like, I wouldn't say story because there's no like words or dialogue or exposition, but there are things that you can activate with these alien artifacts to do something at the end of the game.
it's pretty neat.
But I got Adam to get it. I finally badgered him into it, and the game is a million times better with another person.
I was going to
Yeah.
ask about that. Can you play up to 4 people?
Yeah.
And so you're all just doing that, but you just all got to do it together.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like multiplayer Minecraft, but
Yeah.
Astroneer status.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like it would be fun to dick around in that.
So you're telling me there's 4 of us?
There it is.
And,
Yeah.
yeah. It'd be something that I'm totally down to get into.
If you like Minecraft, Terraria at all, even Stardew Valley, I know you like Stardew Valley. It's along those lines.
Yeah.
And
It was enjoyable. It was nice. I mean, it's fun. You have oxygen tanks and stuff on your character, but you have to be tethered into your oxygen to refill those. So it's like the whole initial part of the game, you're just making these long tethered chains to different parts on the
Yeah.
planet so you don't run out of air.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're like trying to run back to base before you suffocate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the game played. It looks like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. The first thing Adam did when he got to our base, I was like explaining to him, okay, so now that we have the carb and blah, 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 I turn around and he's making a dick out of his like terrain manipulator.
Well, yeah,
It's like, okay, now we have a statue, I guess.
best statue.
Yeah.
Rock hard.
But yeah, those are the games I've been playing. I enjoyed them.
Astroneer is the only one on that list that I've tried out.
Mm-hmm.
2 games that I tried out this last couple days was Banner Saga 2. Tried that out, which is kind of a Norse-themed turn-based tactics game mixed with a story choice RPG.
Mm-hmm.
So you get options during dialogue with characters to choose different responses, and they influence what happens in the game and to your party of characters and stuff.
I could not get past the 3rd level in the first game for the life of me.
I don't
tried
know
like
what
6
the
times.
3rd level is, because it doesn't seem to me like there are
The 3rd
levels.
fight, I guess. It like
Okay.
it was still like at the end of the tutorial, and it's telling me how they had armor, and I had to, it's trying to tell you to learn about armor, and I
Mhm.
knew how it worked, but I literally just didn't have, I guess, the RNG for it, and I had to give it up. So, but it seemed like it was gonna be a really cool game.
It's the art style's really fun,
Mhm.
and I think that it's got a cool plot. I find that I'm more attracted to the story choice RPG aspects of it because I'm not a big turn-based tactics guy. Like I'm not an XCOM player. I always enjoy them as like a concept.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times that I'm gonna jump in like, okay, this is gonna be fun. But then it's like shit takes so fucking long. I hate waiting for the computer to do things.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to wait for the computer to do its moves.
I mean,
That's
if
the
you want it
thing.
to look good, you have to. Otherwise, it's gonna look like
I highly recommend
It is
you
a
try
downfall,
Disco
though.
Elysium.
Disco Elysium.
Yeah, ELY, like the normal Elysium.
Sounds
So
like
it's
a dance
touted
party.
as like the best RPG of the year,
Okay.
and it's given me like strong
Clorp
Baldur's
tingling.
Gate
Okay.
vibes in a sense. But yeah, just check it out. Watch it for something. But
What's it on?
I think it's just on PC.
Okay. What's platform? Or what PC game launcher?
I think I saw it on both GOG and Steam.
Okay,
So it's
okay.
probably on everything.
Do you have it already, Andy?
Do I have
Disco
Disco
Elysium?
Elysium? No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed your Steam library is pretty robust.
That's okay.
Is it that entire list that popped up
Yes.
on Steam? Like Gears 5 all the way through, like a bunch of other nonsense?
I think I only have like 120 something games.
Only.
That is a relatively small Steam library.
Especially when we've had Steam for over 10 years.
Yeah. I got Steam in 2003 or 4 because I think it was my sophomore junior year.
Not counting
Still.
having access to a Game Pass, I have owned
I don't
like
think.
30 games in my life.
Yeah, I don't think I've played 100 video games.
So that's the thing is like
You don't
just
play
like
'em.
most people, yeah, I download these with the intention of like, oh, Steam sale, click, 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 and then I never play them or I don't play them enough.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Just go back and play more Stardew. It's more important.
yeah, pretty
While
much.
watching The Office and listening to The Sopranos.
Typically,
Well,
that sounds like an average day.
Oh man.
It wasn't long ago that I was watching something and then I started thinking I want to watch the other thing, and I literally put on the other thing while the other thing was running. Like I had
Why
two
not?
things running, didn't kind of recognize that was happening because I was playing WoW and Stardew.
Did you finish your Sopranos run?
I have like 45 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude.
Now,
Chrissy,
I
man.
don't care. I'm
Yeah.
not-
Chrissy.
I don't care.
That's
Sopranos is too old. I just don't care.
Spoiler
that Chrissy shit, man. When that came
things are-
came out of the blue.
What's the word?
Dude,
That's all I'm
just
gonna
out of
say.
nowhere.
Statute of limitations have run out.
Yes.
A long time ago. And have
The
you not
spoilers
seen
have
Sopranos?
spoiled.
I haven't seen it.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I've seen majority of Sopranos
Gotcha.
when Sopranos was coming out.
Right. Okay.
And then I think how many seasons are there?
6.
So probably around season 4 or 5 is when I started to lose interest. I don't remember if that was from a dissatisfaction with the show or life got in the way, because we were making a regular thing of it to go watch it at Chris's house, and then that stopped. And I don't remember if that was just unavailability of schedules or I know it was during his getting close to when Chris passed away, so hanging out with him was sometimes unpleasant because he was drunk.
Yeah.
There's only so many times you want to watch a grown man touch his dick, which is, like 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good number.
Yeah, 4.
4 is
5,
solid.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
4, it should be solid. That's all it takes to get solid. It's 4,
It's just 4.
4 dick touches.
Just 4.
No, I mean, and I blame Sopranos for him doing that. It's like constantly wearing his tracksuits and adjusting his package.
Yeah.
I think is a direct correlation to how into Sopranos Chris was.
Could very well be. Yeah, I mean, he did go hardcore tracksuit.
Yeah.
That was now his entire wardrobe. Was
He wanted to
tracksuits.
be in the mafia.
Yeah. Which they do make it fucking cool. I'm just,
Some aspects.
Not all.
You
have
take
to
the,
wear a
you take the bad with the
tracksuit.
good. Hey. Forget about it.
You get to run a strip joint. That's fun.
Yeah.
You don't even have to run it. You just get to go in there.
True. I
and
mean, you could just
own
go to
it.
a
You're
strip
the
joint right
owner.
now.
I know, but you don't get to go in for free.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't
go
get
to
free
a strip
drinks.
joint
Yeah.
and do whatever you want, and it's free, but you have to talk with your hands for the rest of your life.
Wait, hold on one more time. I think I say yes, but I want to hear it
You
clearly.
get your stripper thing you're talking about,
Uh-huh.
but you have to talk with your hands.
like
What does that
sign
mean?
language?
Italian. I'm being slightly racist.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like $1 million button. I'm like, define talk with your hands.
Fine.
Like Bernie Sanders, am I just going to be like,
Yeah.
Fine. Like if the strippers are doing a
Pointing?
good job, they're doing most of the talking anyway.
No, I mean like forever. So like
out of
during
the
your
Oh,
future
oh,
divorce,
oh.
your child's birthday, you're like lasagna.
Baba Ganoush.
If I move my hands,
That's Sopranos
do my,
right there.
do my hands produce the sound of me
You
speaking?
have a compulsion, and you literally cannot force yourself to verbally communicate without your hands doing something.
But the
But I
flip
can still
side,
talk?
All strip clubs are.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
completely
thought you
free
meant
for
I could
you.
only.
How are you not getting this concept? He's talking about this kind of shit. You know, the fucking
this stereotypical Italian. They talk
Yeah,
with
I
their
thought
hands.
that I had no voice
No.
as this was happening, though. Like, I thought that was the
Sign
catch.
language is its own thing.
Well, then, yeah, sure, that's fine.
Okay.
People have like that all the time.
Easy one for Andy. He takes the deal.
Yeah, I would take that deal too. Hey, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
What if you like you'd have to put stuff down, otherwise you'd like throw it, or like what if you're trying to hold your baby and you start having a conversation and then you got to like talk with your hands and suddenly you're shaking your baby.
You can
and
still hold a baby. Yeah. You're just gonna do crook right here, you know.
Just get him in the
I'll
crook.
just
Just give him the crook.
just put them in a headlock.
I'll just put gyroscopes on anything I could carry that I care about to keep them stable as I toss them around.
I'll throw around my experience a little bit here.
Gyroscopes.
I have now watched almost
The
6
answer to everything.
seasons of The Sopranos, and I can tell you can hold a baby and talk with your hands. You know, I'm an expert here. So
They have made do with the curse.
yeah,
That's true. They have that one in the bag.
plenty of mozzarella and gabagool. That's all it takes, man. Just to get a proper Italian diet.
So, yeah, Banner Saga was neat. I don't know if I'll come back to it. The other one was Bad North, which was, I'm fairly certain Bad North, it's also Norse related, which is always going to pique my interest, is like a mini real-time strategy game,
Ooh, fun.
roguelike. So you start off with like one unit of dudes, and you have to defend this island, and the island has enemy Vikings showing up on longboats, and you can just reposition them around on the board, and they'll just either win or lose based on the strength of the unit. And then as you go, you get more troops, and you can upgrade those troops to like pikemen, or with shields you can make archers. And you just, each island is like different size, has different landing points, different heights. You
seen
can
the
put
trailer
stuff
for
on
that.
there, and you beat one level, that island's complete. You go into the next one. But I barely dipped my toe into it today or last night, and I say it's roguelike because I'm pretty sure, like, if any of your squads get completely wiped out, they're dead, they're gone. And then if all of you get wiped out, you start over from the beginning. So I think you're trying to make it as far as you can in the island chain.
Gotcha. Are there out of match rewards? Like if you do so well, you get stuff to spend.
Yeah,
So,
you
like,
get
out of
coins
game.
after each island that you complete,
it's a
and that's what you
roguelike.
use to upgrade your units. So
So you make it farther on the next run.
yeah, it's cute, simple graphics, pretty straightforward. I lost my game as soon as I ran into like the heavy berserker units because they just mowed through my dudes. And that's when I didn't realize that they die permanently.
Yeah.
So
Very Fire Emblem. If you want an RTS Norse game, Northgard's pretty good. Pretty
Northgard,
solid.
I'll check that one out.
If you want a really good Norse game, black and white, it's highly suggested by me.
We've got this notion.
I love those games. They've got a special place in my video game heart.
You guys still playing Stellaris?
I mean,
Every once in a while, I'll boot it up for a few
I
minutes.
put it on the PC if you guys want to play. 'Cause I know
Okay, cool.
Justin recently started playing Stellaris, didn't he?
him and I, been playing kind of on and off for years.
Oh,
but,
okay, okay.
have you played it yet?
Yeah, I played it on the Xbox.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So into the ropes.
Yeah, that's I stopped playing after you told me about how the game was currently in a broken state.
Yeah.
So
I don't know where it's at right now, but
hopefully fixed.
yeah.
But anyways, that'd be a fun one because we got to think about games that we'd want to.
We want to stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Speaking
got
of which,
Hellblade. I forgot about streaming it.
Yeah.
I was sleeping.
I noticed. Yeah. Andrew, you played Alien Isolation. How did that go for you?
You hear about
That
how
was
that went?
spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even think I saw the alien once.
Really?
It
I was at work,
spooky.
so I was only able to kind of, pseudo watch.
Yeah.
He was playing Minesweeper.
I got lost. I got lost in a circle for a while. That's for sure.
He had some random Twitch people pop in and
Help me out.
give him a
Yeah, I
hand.
saw
which
a
was
little bit of
good,
that.
Or
Yeah.
else I'd probably still be running around looking for that fucking hatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point I had that classic horror movie moment where I turned away from a doorway, and as I was panning back to the doorway, the shadow ran by, and I was like, "Oh fuck, what was that?" It was a person.
Yeah.
As it
it
turns
must
out.
have been my imagination.
Yeah. The lighting and the music is all really creepy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll hop back on that here at some point soon.
It does a really good job of
And we'll
building
finish
anticipation.
that game and see if there's anything to really be afraid about. So far, I don't know that this alien exists. I
It's
have
just
not
hatches
seen
and
it.
shadows.
For all I know, this
Good.
game could be
It's all a big ruse.
Just
We
fucking with
we
me.
just tricked you into
A
playing
ruse.
a game. You're going to be expecting an alien the whole time.
Wouldn't that be funny if a game did that somehow? There was no thing there, but
It's just that
there
gray
was just the
alien
anticipation
from
of the thing there.
What's the American Dad? The gray alien, Gary or whatever.
The one with the big head
What?
Yeah.
and
Gary.
the dad bod.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
American Dad. You know the Family Guy.
Oh, yeah.
spin-off?
Okay. Yeah.
Just like at the end, like you're about to shit yourself out of fear. Just hey. Pops out of the corner.
that's what
That's
pops
the
out.
alien, yeah.
Gotcha.
It reminds me of the one time that I attempted to play Dead Space. I don't play scary games, by the way, because they're scary and it's not fun for me. But I tried to play Dead Space because it looked like a cool sci-fi shooter, and I knew it was a scary game. So anytime I'm approaching something creepy or a corpse, I was preemptively shooting it, and that's when I got really angry because right in the beginning you realize that stuff does reanimate. But it won't reanimate until you hit the arbitrary trigger, and it doesn't register as something. So if I come across one of the dead, xenomorphs, or no, that's the alien.
Yeah.
It's alien.
Necromorphs. I'm gonna call them a
Yes.
necromorph.
Yeah,
I think it is
sounds
necromorph.
Okay, well if it's not, it should be because it sounds cool. You come across one of those, and I'm like, okay, I shoot it in its head and remove its arms and its limbs and stuff, which is a necessity for those. And then it reanimated after I hit the trigger 10 feet further down the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
But with no head and limbs, what could it do?
They came back.
Oh, with head and limbs?
Yeah, I hadn't hit the
The
programmed
So it
trigger.
just
Yeah.
it reloaded it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
Yeah, I was very upset by that. That's when I stopped playing Dead Space. I don't remember which of
That's
the
fair.
3 it was, but I was trying to.
I like the Dead. Now, I played most of the first Dead Space. I didn't play any of the sequels. The third one looked like kind of a weird departure. Did you guys see any of the third one? It's kind of a mech game and not really a horror game.
You sure?
There's a lot of superfluous mech shit. You because you're a miner.
Is there such a thing?
Okay, I take it back.
No, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, seemed neat, but it also had a fucking multiplayer component. You always have a second player with you, even if it's just AI. And I think that just kind of kills some of the horrorness, the scariness of it for me.
I know Colin was really into the Dead Space games
Yeah.
when he was playing those back in the day.
Yeah, Colin gets addicted to most games that he plays, though. I think
he likes crappy games.
he likes good games too, but
Yeah. I mean, besides some of the Assassin's Creeds and maybe arguably Skyrim, what else has he played that's like a really good game?
He's played a lot of games. It's not like he's played.
I feel like he's played
10.
5 games in his life.
He does repeat games a lot. Yes, that aren't multiplayer or have any actual replayability. But
the only game that I know Colin played that I take umbrage with him playing a lot of was Skyrim, and that's my own personal grudge against Skyrim.
Yeah,
he played Fable for like 9,000 days.
He did play a lot
too
of
much
Fable.
Like there's
That
only
game
so
wasn't
much
that
content
good.
in the game. I mean, making up your own stuff's great. but-
Well, I take umbrage with Fable just because he did the same thing every time. Like he did have options, but instead he'd do the cheese, right?
That's what I mean.
He'd just do the cheese
Like,
option.
It's just antithetical to how I play games. To replay a game is one thing, and then to replay and do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
don't
Then
know
again,
if
I'm
he
the
ever
guy
did
who
that. I
like
don't
doesn't
know.
watch something more than once, which is bizarre. So I'm probably
I don't
not the
think it's
best
bizarre
person
to
ask.
not watch something more than once.
Yeah. I think we talked about it in an earlier podcast, but
I
yeah,
think it's
I
weird.
rarely
I don't think it's weird. I think
retake media.
like I do.
I mean,
often.
especially someone who has trouble remembering things and stuff. Like, you figure it would behoove you to give something
Man,
more than one watch.
It just comes down to if I watch it again, I could have been watching something new.
There is a lot of content to consume.
Sure.
Yeah. A never-ending list of games to be played, things to be watched.
Sometimes I just want to sit down and do the thing that I like, that I know I like.
I just find a game that does it similar, right?
Well,
I
mean,
guess, but-
it comes down to the argument of the guaranteed quality versus the risk of poor quality, right?
Yeah.
You get to experience new content, but there's a higher risk that it's not going to be as good as something that you've done previously. But I guess you could choose that. But I'd also argue that you catch more stuff.
That's what I was going to say. Is
Yeah.
I often like revisiting stories that I know I've enjoyed because on the next go around, I'm able to appreciate like the details of the story within the holistic perspective.
That's why
Especially
Deadwood
if
is
it's
such a good
yeah,
rewatch.
That's the first one I thought of
Yeah.
too.
You know, how I think I get that, but I go around it in another way. Like when I recently finished The Expanse, the 4th season, I spent like 3 days just reading online about it and reading threads of people talking about the show and catching those things.
Mhm.
And then I kind of get a little bit of that clarity.
So you just let somebody else
Through
do the work
others'
for you.
eyes.
Somebody else
You're
do-
just-
yeah.
That's the thing is, even if I do that though, I have to go back and rewatch it then because I'm like, this is content that I missed out on a show that I really enjoyed.
Now they'd have to point out something like really fundamental that I'm regretting that I missed to go back to see if that was actually something I missed.
The reason I rewatched Justified last time, because this is like the, I don't know, 30th fucking viewing of that show, love that show, was because they were talking about a specific event that happened and literally just kind of grokking what it meant. Because it was an event it was narrative that never had to take place. And it was just people trying to break down like why was this brought up? Why put that in the show if they're never going to touch on it again?
So
So-
you went back and rewatched that scene?
I rewatched that scene and then I watched it's a later episode, but I ended up watching like 8 fucking episodes of Justified because that's what I had left of the series. Yeah.
That just happens because you're going to get the taste for it again.
I did. I got the taste and I was like, well, I might as well finish it, you know. Yeah.
As far as rewatching shows, I'm pretty sure Deadwood and Band of Brothers are the only 2 like long-running episodic, not episodic, but long shows that I've ever repeatedly watched. Everything else is like I'll start doing it. No, that's not true. You go with the classics like The Office.
The Office.
Well, I was going to say
Parks
though,
and Rec.
like I feel like that's a habit born out of watching TV and syndication, where I would just often have the TV on as I was doing other things.
That's 2 different things. With the Deadwood and Band of Brothers,
sure, that's different.
I'm sitting down to rewatch
Yes.
those to better absorb and revisit this beautiful content.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Arrested
shit
Development, The Office, yeah, that's
Shit
background
like
shit.
that, yeah.
Watching New Girl again, and the show's hilarious, and it doesn't matter where I'm at. I could have stopped halfway through an episode. Next time I sit in front of the couch, I'll turn it back on, start right where I left off.
It's a different
I don't
caliber
care.
of show, though, right? It's
Yeah.
like
They're
one,
comedies.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. One isn't telling like this gripping story.
Yeah.
I would say that Arrested Development is one that you can rewatch a few times and catch new stuff each time.
For sure.
Yes.
There's a lot hidden in that
Yeah.
show.
Definitely never rewatched Arrested Development.
Really?
Yeah.
I have not either.
I would highly suggest it.
And I don't
'cause
think I've seen every episode either.
if you were to watch it in its entirety up to where it is now and then rewatch it, you could probably rewatch it 2 or 3 times and continue to catch new things.
Sure.
Just because
There's pretty cunning humor
Oh,
placed
yeah.
in that show.
like they allude to Lucille all of the series. It's crazy. Not the name, but you know what happens with Buster with a Lucille losing his hand, that thing. They were making Lucille jokes from the very beginning of the show, and then that happens in like season 3. It's crazy how much, like, it feels like that show was fully written, fully fledged out before they released episode 1.
They probably had a lot of high marks already sketched.
For me, that's
Yeah.
the kind of thing that I'd see on like a Reddit post. Be like, oh, that's great. That's really cool. That's not going to make me rewatch the show.
I just enjoyed the show enough to rewatch it again. Is
Yeah.
the thing.
I think I'm just broken. I was trying to think of a good analogy, but it's hard to find an analogy that makes sense. I think the closest one I went is like, you go and see a waterfall. It's really cool. It's an awesome waterfall. I don't ever need to see that waterfall again.
Mm-hmm.
I can go see other waterfalls. That one's shaped differently.
Sure.
That one's in a cool place. But it's like, why would I go back to that and take the time to drive out there when I could be doing something else?
I guess, yeah.
I mean, I think it's really like unfair to compare. Looking
I
at
know.
a-
I was
how-
trying to think of
Yeah,
a decent like
A
analogy.
waterfall is beautiful
It's
and
really
majestic for
hard.
like 3 minutes, and you're like,
All right, yeah. Like it's not going to be different next time you show
Yeah.
up, or you're not
Yeah.
going to see. Ooh, I didn't notice that particular stream that's curving off to the left this time.
Well, the
The
red analogy
nuance.
would be like the park ranger being like, "Well, did you know this waterfall? The water comes from this specific place where
Well, if I
orange plants
was
are
told,
grown."
hey, go back to that waterfall at 4:00, and Ranger Tom will tell you all about the area, that would be worth going back out there for.
or if Ranger Tom then told me at 5:00 the leprechaun shows up, that's when I'd be like, all right, it's time to come back.
You got to go check out that leprechaun waterfall.
Yeah,
Or maybe there are particular views that only happen during certain times of the year
Yeah.
but instead of
Things of
seeing
that
a
nature.
waterfall, I could play a video game
with a waterfall in it.
We were
with
actually
a waterfall in it. Yeah,
during the
Don't-
break.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Stick to the 7-digit numbers like you're used to.
Yes. So we were actually talking during the break about I would just rather go play a video game. We were talking about the Choose Your Own Adventure Netflix stuff. Apparently, they're doing a lot of that now. Like
What?
even,
Turn
like
to
they
page 73.
like they even have a Bear Grylls Choose Your Own Adventure.
I wasn't aware there was any other than that initial
The Black
experiment.
Mirror one. Yeah, that was. I think you're talking about the Black Mirror one.
Was that a Black Mirror?
Yeah.
I thought it was its own.
yeah.
Jabberwocky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was made. It looks like by the same people that did Black Mirror.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. But
That was
apparently they
fun.
have a few.
I liked that.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time going through it to try different options and stuff like that.
Is it like clicking different annotations to take you to different
Different results.
results of the story?
It'll pause and give you an option on screen, like does he do this or does he do this?
What's this on?
Netflix.
Okay.
It's fun. I enjoyed
Check
it.
out.
So there's more.
I guess so. I didn't know that.
How many? Find out right now. How many more? I need to know this.
I know.
I don't want the Bear Grylls one. That sounds terrible.
The only options are: do you
Drink
drink,
the
the
pee.
Drink
or
the piss.
Drink the pee
Drink the piss.
quickly? Do you sleep in a hotel or pretend you don't sleep in a hotel?
Bash this bat on a rock or drink your pee. Like every second option needs to be drink pee.
It's the default state.
So Puss in Book, Trapped in an Epic Tale,
What?
Buddy Thunderstruck, The Maybe Pile, Stretch Armstrong, The Breakout,
Stretch.
Minecraft, Story
These
Mode,
have all got to be kids things.
Black Mirror, Bandersnatch,
Ah.
and Bear Grylls, You vs. Wild.
Not Jabberwocky.
It's not Jabberwocky. It's Bandersnatch.
That would have taken me to the
Bandersnatch.
wrong one.
Benedict Bandersnatch.
Benicio del Cucumber.
Benedict, Come in Your Butt. By
Chuck Tingle.
Chuck Tingle.
Tingler.
It's gotten 4 Clorp tingles.
Yeah.
Those all sound terrible.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, the only one that didn't sound like some sort of children's
Jabberwocky.
thing was Bear Grylls, and I mean, it's
We know half the choices on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already.
Well, more than half. I mean, you get the two options.
Well, yeah,
it starts,
every
hi, I'm
choice
Bear
is-
Grylls, and that's when the pause happens. It says, drink the piss or drink the piss. And then you drink the piss, and the game's over.
That would be worth it just for him to have to make that. So how many times he'd have having to
Mid openings,
drink
there's
piss.
just piss coming in from off screen.
There's always a stream.
Just
If
always a
anybody needs to make one of those, fucking Jack Black needs to.
stream. Ooh.
A choose your own adventure Netflix thing.
Yeah, he'd be fucking great. Him and Kyle.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Make pick a Destiny 2,
Yeah.
but choose your own adventure. That would be fun.
You got to work pick into the subtitle. Yeah, pick Destiny 2. Pick your own adventure. I don't know.
Or-
pick your
Pick your own riff.
The pick of Destiny. Pick Destiny.
Pick your destiny too.
Destiny picker. Tenacious D2 Destiny picker.
Or just the pick of Destiny. Like
Black picked a
No,
pack of
Andy, we want to
picks.
go.
destinies.
we gotta go meta.
Got to change it, but subtly.
Yes.
Change it.
But yeah, pick a Destiny would have
don't
been perfect title
change
for
it.
a choose your own adventure.
Would've
They
pretty
hadn't
good, right?
ruined it already by using it.
Bastards.
I want one where you're Jeff Goldblum and you have to convince people you're human. So you just do Jeff Goldblum things.
I forgot about the Jeff Goldblum show. I stopped watching that because there were no new episodes,
He
and now
had a
there's probably
show?
8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just does Jeff.
I really
Goldblum
enjoyed the
things.
first like 3 episodes
Cooks
of that
with
show.
people.
Hmm.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's watching Jeff Goldblum be Jeff Goldblum.
If you like him, then yeah. it's
No,
fantastic.
he's funny.
I think he's great.
I like the way he
It's
talks.
a good show.
I think you all have succumbed.
I like Sakame.
Sakame.
better.
Mhm.
You've all succumbed
I've sucked game.
to the hypnosis that is Jeff Goldblum.
Well, it's his shirts he wears.
It's more than that. It's everything. He's not from this planet.
Yeah.
He is got powers.
I'm convinced he's a rich extraterrestrial tourist.
Reasonable.
He clearly has no understanding of like common life things. Like, oh, what's this? A $20 bill. Ooh,
I wish I
yes.
did not know what a $20 bill
Yeah,
was.
he's,
by
that's
virtue
not a
of being
specific
rich.
thing he's done, but it's along those
By
lines.
virtue of being rich.
Naughty Knight says he talks like a jazz instrument. I kind of agree.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, just
The guy who made Pinocchio also made Jeff Goldblum out of a saxophone. He gave him life.
well,
His favorite wooden saxophone.
do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? Because it's about time to wrap up.
I don't.
I checked all my marks.
Yeah.
I marked all my checks.
Oh, one more thing. I guess if you want to, if we can wrap
Yeah.
it up, I can save it for next time.
No, do it.
Okay. Do you guys realize that the top box office for this entire year is 80% Disney?
I
did
believe it.
hear something
Yeah.
about
Eight
that,
out of
yeah.
10 of the top grossing box office movies is Disney.
It's consequence
What are the
of them
two that aren't
buying
Disney?
everything.
I don't know.
That's an important question.
Let me Google this. Let me Jujule it.
Did anybody see Knives Out?
No, that's
Is
what
it
I was
out?
gonna say. Is we saw that trailer and it looked really
Yeah.
funny,
It's
and I
out.
really wanted. Yeah, it came out like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, I want to watch that.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, look good.
Looks like a lot of fun.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Working.
So,
Well, I'm seeing a movie and then I'm working. So,
what movie are you seeing?
Star Wars again.
Want to go see Knives Out instead?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just
This
thought
is
I'd
this is
ask.
for a child's birthday party that I'm looking very forward to.
Do they want to see Knives Out?
No.
Okay.
No.
They might.
For his birthday
Have
he
you
wanted to see
asked?
Star Wars with
Have
me,
you
so-
asked?
No.
Show
But
him
I'm
the trailer,
I'm just gonna
man.
say no.
Shoot the shot.
Yeah, sure. I'll wake up extra early so I can show him the trailer and we can change our minds and get the refund and then do the thing.
Just hype it.
Okay, I got
Hype it before you show them.
I don't think you can out-hype Star Wars to a 6-year-old.
Not with that attitude.
So imagine Star Wars, but with knives.
Oh,
Out.
man.
it. Does Spider-Man count for Disney, even though it was Sony?
It's Sony.
I
So
mean,
mean-
it's Marvel, which is Disney.
right. I mean, they had to kind of work together.
I count
there.
that as Disney.
I count it as a Disney franchise. So you have Joker, which is
Oh,
Warner
that makes
Brothers, and
Warner Brothers does good
It
stuff.
Chapter 2, which is clearly just riding off of the fandom of Stephen King and the It series
Yeah.
in the 80s, because I don't think anyone particularly enjoyed It 2, did they?
I
I
don't
did
know.
not see it.
Never seen them.
Well,
I forgot it was a thing and I never heard anything about it.
I feel like the general consensus wasn't one of overwhelming praise, so I imagine if at best it was just acceptable as a sequel. I didn't
Yeah.
watch it. I don't give a shit.
I didn't watch the new It 1.
But yeah, top grossers: Avengers Endgame, Lion King, Toy Story 4, Captain Marvel, Frozen 2, Spider-Man, Aladdin, Joker, Star Wars, and It.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, when a company buys every mainstream fandom, it makes sense that they top the charts.
Yeah, they own Fox now, don't they?
They own you. They own me.
They own everything.
Did you say they own you?
They own you.
They own
They
you.
own
I've never seen. Is that like a Louisiana Bayou movie? Down
Belter
you.
Creole.
Down me.
Down you.
Yeah, I thought I'd point that out. I thought it was, expected, as we know, as Disney becomes one of the 3 global powers in our universe.
They're gonna buy fucking Star. Do they own Star Trek?
It goes gravity,
Probably.
electricity,
Who owns
Disney.
Star Trek?
Those are the 3 laws.
They gotta
Yeah.
get those numbers up, man. Their third number.
Yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
No, in no order. No particular order.
Oh,
those
okay.
are just
Disney
the, those
wants
are just
there
the
to be
3
an order.
forces.
I believe CBS still owns.
Do they own CBS?
They might.
I mean, at this point, they own Fox. Like, what's next?
Oh, man.
Star Trek productions have been split between Viacom and Paramount,
Hmm,
which own movie rights, and CBS retains the TV production rights.
gotcha.
Which would make sense because CBS has their own shitty streaming service, which is what Discovery was on. Star Trek Discovery, the new Star Trek show.
Yes.
Show nobody knows about because it was on a shitty streaming show.
Yep.
Oh, has the new Star Trek came out yet? With
Picard.
I don't know.
I imagine it's probably
I heard a
on something
commercial
from like
for it.
CBS Plus or minus.
Yeah, probably.
Star Trek Picard.
You think he just like was running out of money,
January 23rd.
Who?
Stewart? And he's like, let's bring back Picard. Everybody loves Picard.
I think
thought
it
it
suffers
was-
from all actors is as they get older, they just start saying, fuck it, and they'll let them do anything. They'll do anything.
Money.
You look at what Robert De Niro started doing as he got older. That's so many words that person pushed. It's just
Disney owns ABC,
Okay.
ESPN, which is an 80% stake, Touchstone Pictures, Marvel, Lucasfilm, A&E, which is 50% equity holding with Hearst Corporation, the History Channel, also 50% equity holding with Hearst Corporation, Lifetime, again with the Hearst Corporation, Pixar, Hollywood Records, Vice Media, and Core Publishing.
okay.
Which probably all own a bunch of stations. Yeah,
Subsidiaries,
exactly.
yeah.
100%. Yep. Well, on that depressing news, it's time to end it.
Cyberpunk.
Have a good week, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
Educate your mind. Don't let the brain cells die. Come on, it's balcony time.